Welcome to Two Hearts Dance and Yoga's Heart to Heart video series. My name is Leanne Barber, owner and movement creator at Two Hearts Dance and Yoga. It is my pleasure today to welcome Neil Schwartz. Neil and I both danced together on a dance team at the University of Maryland called Dynamic. Neil is a professional dance choreographer and currently teaches on the faculty at the renowned Broadway Dance Center in New York City, as well as guest teaches at the Millennium Dance Complex and other studios while he's in LA. He's danced alongside Rhapsody James, Luam, Lisette Bustamante, and other choreographers in the industry. He choreographed for Icona Pop, and he was hand-selected to choreograph for Pharrell Williams' fragrance line launch, as well as working with actor Channing Tatum on the Today Show in promotion of the movie Magic Mike. His choreography can be seen on other shows as well, like Good Morning America, NBC Live, PBS, World of Dance, just to name a few. He's traveled the world teaching workshops and continues to share his passion for dance and everything that he does. Welcome, Neil. It is my pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm just so happy to be able to reconnect through dance during this time.
Absolutely. Agreed.
See you. Before we get into some questions I have for you,
Yes.
I just wanted to tell you how awesome it has been to be able to take your classes through Broadway Dance Center, through their virtual. It's been amazing to dance with you like old times.
Amen. Yeah, no, it's been incredible. I'm so happy that we are able to connect during this time, for sure.
Absolutely. How has virtual teaching been for you?
It's been an adjustment for sure, just being able to learn Zoom in itself was a struggle. But I finally kind of got the hang of it, and luckily Broadway has an incredible system that they lined up. So it makes teaching virtually a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable than teaching in my parents' house. But I would say it's definitely had its ups and downs, but just on the technical side of things. But I think that connecting with so many all over the world, and then connecting with my students who I hadn't seen in a long time, or just friends I haven't seen in a long time, has been incredible. And for me, this whole experience of teaching live has been extremely therapeutic, especially in a time like this. So I always say to my mom, I'm like, it's like my form of therapy, because it just feels so good, and it does really calm you down, and keep you focused. So I'm very thankful to just be able to teach, period, So even though it was a struggle, I think we finally figured it out, so.
Absolutely. You're doing a wonderful job at that.
Thank you.
You have such a passion for dance, and it really reflects through your teaching. How did you discover dance?
Oh, wow. So I mean, I've been dancing since I want to say about 6 or 7 years old. And I mean, but I was connected to music at a very early age. So I can distinctly remember when I was like 3 or 4, I would just, I would sit outside. I have older siblings. So I have a brother who's 9.5 years older than me, and I have a sister who's 14 years older than me. And they both have such eclectic taste in music. And I would sit outside of and they were pretty upset, but I would sit outside of their room and just put my ear to the door and listen to like all the music that they were listening to. And I feel like that was my first connection to dance in general, was just connecting with music, and that passion I had towards music. So I would say, yeah. And then when I was about 7, that kind of connected everything, because I enrolled, my parents put me in dance classes, and I was at a competition studio, and we kind of went from there, and that's what kind of started everything, but my mom tells me I've always been moving. As soon as the music comes on, I would always move, even when I was a baby.
Thank you for sharing that with us, kind of taking you down memory lane a little bit.
Mm.
What are some of your early challenges with dance that you can remember?
Oof. My early challenges. Well, I love my family very much, but I come from, a line of doctors, basically. I'm the only one that kind of went the other way. Um, you know, um, I would say just kind of challenging what was a little bit considered normal in my family as far as like going the other way. I think that that was a challenge at first, for sure. Um, I also had and this was back in 2005 or four. I think 2005. But I developed a blood clot in my leg. And I mean, it was like a back and forth thing of whether I'm going to keep my leg, whether I'm not going to keep my leg, whether I'm going to make it, whether I'm not going to make it. All these very heavy, these very heavy challenges. And I would say that trying to mentally get out of that mode of I have to worry for my life type deal, um, instead of just living my life was the biggest obstacle because um, but at the same time it was a challenge, but it was, although it was a bad experience, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because it was that pinnacle moment that made me realize that that is what I need to do as soon as I make it out of the hospital. Because I was in the ICU unit, I just thought about that. But when I make it out of the hospital, I want to be able to pursue what is for me, and I want to dance, and that was it. And I think I felt pressure. My family, they're incredible people, but they wanted what was best for me. They didn't fully understand it, and I was, how do I describe it? I think I was just so passionate about what I wanted to do that um, I think it was that moment, that obstacle that made me realize if I don't push through this now, then I'm going to fall down. So I can't listen to pressure from my family side. I can't listen to pressure from other people. I have to, or my friends or anyone, I have to really, really sit and do some internal thinking. And that's what I did. And then we went from there.
Thank you for sharing that and becoming like a blessing in disguise, like you said, that really shows you what you are passionate about, show you the things that you love in life. And thank goodness that you got through that and were able to share your love for with all of us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a professional dance choreographer and kind of what led you to working for Broadway Dance Center and choreographing with such big names in the industry.
So, um, so basically, I have been taking classes at Broadway since I was about 12, 13. My parents brought me in because of one of my father's patients told him to bring me to Broadway he's like, basically, it was like, if your son's serious about dance and wants to do something with dance, bring him into Broadway. So my father and my mother would drive me into the city, and I would take classes, or I would sneak and take classes also. I would sneak on the train and take classes. Um, but so I had been taking from Broadway since I was younger, and then I kind of stopped. And then when I was in college, that's when kind of everything kind of picked up. And then right when I finished when I graduated from the University of Maryland, I saw that Broadway had an intern program, which is now called the ProSem program. Um, and I said, let me apply for it. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go to grad school, and I wanted to take a year off and just see I can kind of come up with. And then I found this program and I went for it and I got in, and from there it's an incredible program. I was able to pick a mentor and train under that mentor and keep moving forward with them. And luckily my mentors, excuse me, were Shara Murakami and Luam. So yeah, and Luam has been definitely my biggest inspiration, and was my biggest supporter, and is probably my biggest supporter. She kind of grabbed me at a time where I was feeling low. I didn't really know where I was going with this. I was getting a lot of pressure to kind of make decisions, and I couldn't even make a decision for myself. And she really, grabbed me by the hand, her and also Lisette Bustamante, and they pulled me, and from that pulling, I was able to really achieve the goals that I wanted to. I wanted to be a choreographer. I wanted to be a dancer, but the main thing I wanted to do is I wanted to be an educator. So I knew that teaching for me was always number one, because I love choreographing. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And I love working with artists or anything that has to do with the industry. It's great. But my real passion comes from teaching and connecting. So I would say that the reason I was able to start teaching and getting experience with that was doing this program and being trained under Luam.
Wonderful, wonderful. And
Yeah.
great that, you had that inspiration, somebody kind of bringing you,
Mm,
encouraging you. And that's what you're doing for others. So thank you.
absolutely. No, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of answered the question that I was just going to ask you.
Oh.
I guess if you want to expand on it a little bit, you mentioned like Luam and Lisette. Who are some of your other biggest inspirations? And they can be dancers or non-dancers, performers, family members, whoever has been an inspiration for you.
Oof. I'm inspired by so many, but at an early stage and still now. But my friend Candace Brown, sorry, she's phenomenal. Her movement quality, her artistry, speaks volumes, and I think that was and is a huge push for me. Watching the way that she conducts herself as an artist, I think is very inspiring. So, and yes, of course, Luam and Lisette. But let's see, non-dance related, I have to commend my father. I'm very inspired by my father in that my father built his practice from the ground up. So, and he, you know, um, basically, he basically built everything for himself. If he wanted to do something, his parents were like, then you do it. Like, we're not helping. You got to go. You got to do it. So it was tough love. But I think watching my father build such a big name for himself in the medical field inspired me to how to conduct myself in the dance industry. So, and I think that it's, watching him as a role model has definitely helped because, your name is all you have. So basically making sure that you're professional in every aspect, so watching him has helped me build my name in the community. So I would definitely say my father, my mother, she's incredible, very strong woman, and just, ugh, I'd be nowhere without her. So let's just get that straight. She really is the best. I have two siblings who inspire me as well. My brother is an incredible doctor, and my sister she's also an artist as well. And the thing about my sister, she can really do anything. She's like one of those who like, oh, I don't think I can do it, and then just does it incredibly, like whatever she touches. And I'm definitely not that person. So it's, you know, it's interesting and inspiring to watch her too. And then it sounds a little corny because I keep talking about my family, but but the reality of it is that I have a niece and two nephews who are my world, my everything. And I mean my everything. My niece and I are attached at our hips, and my two nephews and I are attached on the other side. And they're just such good, um, they're just such good humans. And um, for me, it's so interesting to see how how they contribute to society, how they are aware of what's going on, how they want to help, how they want to, you know, help within their communities, and they're doing it on their own. But not least is my sister-in-law. She is phenomenal, and when I was at my lowest, she was one of my people to push me forward, you know, and she's always pushed me to do what I wanted to do. So, you know, I have a very close relationship with her. So I'm very thankful for that too. So yeah, that's everyone who inspires me.
That's awesome, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's within. It
Yeah.
sounds like you have a great support system. You have a great
Mm,
there for you. So it's
mm, thank you.
um, so you've created magic on big stages. How does it feel your artistic vision come to life on that level?
Oh, that's like it's a weird subject for me because I feel like if you asked me this question maybe 3 years ago, I would have said something, but now it's different. So 3 or 4 years ago, I would have probably said like, there's nothing greater than watching your work come to life, which I completely agree with. I absolutely 100% agree with to this day. So nothing is better than to be able to watch your creation come to life. I love it. It's my heart and my soul. But I think I've been behind the scenes so much, and I think it's because I was told when I was first starting that because of my size, that I would not be able to have a professional career as a dancer. And at those times, it was always, you have to be super skinny, you gotta got muscles and this and that and the other. You couldn't look, um, you know, out of the norm. You know what I mean? And what's considered normal, and be a bookable dancer or artist, period. And I have to say, and going back to the inspiration is my agent. She is also one of the most inspiring people and one of my favorite people in the world. And I feel very lucky that I have a relationship like this with her. Um, but she believed in me when I was tossed aside. She grabbed me and goes, I want to push you in a different direction, and I want you to see what I see. And she's been pushing me with acting and with not only dancing but acting, and not just choreographing and being behind the scenes. She pushed me to be also in the front. Same with Luam. Push me. And now I realized I like being on the stage. I like being more seen than I have been in the past. So although I do love watching my work come to life, I want to be the one that also you see it coming to life from my imagination. So it's not just others doing it, it's myself. You know, you get to see where all my passion comes from, you know what I mean? And my thought process and all that stuff. So, thankful for my agent, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be, and Luam, of course, I don't think I would be pushing the way that I am pushing, and realizing that I don't just want to be the one that sits in the audience and looks at their work. That's great too, but I want to also be the one that's on stage and I can watch it after too. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't wait to see you on stage.
Hey, thank you.
You on
I
stage.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
love that question. So thank you for that question. That's an awesome question, because that
Great.
made me really, really think. So
Yeah, that's great. Goals change, things change, and I'm glad that changed, and hopefully we'll see you.
yes, as soon as Corona, as soon as she leaves us,
Absolutely.
please go away.
Um, you know, it's awesome to see that you're doing so many things, and you've traveled the world offering your dance workshops and connecting with others. What's it like to teach internationally?
It is one of the most incredible feelings in the world. I can't even begin to explain to you. Like, I would say that is probably my favorite thing to do, is to be able to travel and meet so many different people and so many different artists and learn about so many different cultures. I feel like it's just opened my eyes to so many things. It's made me very aware. Um, and, my first international trip was in Peru, was Lima, Peru. And I've gone there four, 3 times. And um, whew, like it's something that, like, I don't think I can even fully describe. It's incredible. Just like, I mean, I don't like airports. That's my one thing. If I could just avoid the airport and just get right on the plane, I would be fine. But from just being on a plane, that's the one thing I'm telling you. The one thing I miss more than anything right now, with everything that's going on, is I miss traveling very, very much. It's something that I've never taken for granted, that I always, fully embrace. And I feel so fortunate and lucky that I think I've traveled over 15 countries teaching, and I'm so thankful to everyone that has asked me to come. I think it's like one of those, like, surreal moments where you realize that, like, I had a goal for myself. I I put plans into motion, and I worked hard for it, and this and the other. And when you fly and you travel, it makes you realize, and you appreciate everything that you have. So I feel very fortunate that I'm able to travel, but woof, no greater feeling, no experience like traveling, doing what you love to do.
Awesome, very good. And
Yeah.
last question for you.
Yes.
What keeps you going, even in challenging times?
My friends, my family, my support team, like, people that just, will want to see me succeed or care about me as a person first. That really helps. You know what I mean? Especially during these times. But on the other side of things is music and culture that keeps me going, and it's my students, for sure. I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for my students, I don't know what would have happened to me at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where I would have been. So I'm thankful to be able to teach. I'm thankful to be able to connect with my students and connect with music still and feel inspired. You know what I mean? But I think I was born a fighter. I was born kind of like an underdog, if that makes sense. Like, I've always kind of felt like at times. Like I've always been like the up and coming up. You're almost there. You're almost there. Oh, wait, wait, wait. You know what I mean? Which I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that I'm honest and true to myself, and I'm fine with that, and I'm happy. So like I won't knock any of that stuff down. You know what I mean? But I feel like that in return, me being such a fighter, um, keeps me pushing because I can't just throw in the towel and that's that. And I'll never do that ever. I'll fight until my last breath. So, and I get that from my family. So I appreciate that on that end. And I think that that's what keeps me going too. So two ends of those.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, and we really appreciate it on behalf of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga. Thank you, Neil, so much for sharing your tidbits with us, and
Thank you.
we appreciate it. And we
Mwah.
see more from you, taking
Yes.
you, seeing you on stage. Where can you tell people where we can take class with you and learn more about you?
Yeah, so if you follow me on Instagram, I don't use Facebook that much anymore, but Instagram, it's at 80s baby, but it's 80s and then B.A.B.Y, which is like the way I'm starting to brand myself now. So at 80s baby, and then I teach at Broadway Dance Center. So if anyone wants to come take a live class, you know, they can join you too. Come dance.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Kisses.